Hi everyone, welcome to Last Minute Coders. My name is Vinay. I hope you guys are doing well. So today is our first video on Microsoft Power Automate. I hope you guys are excited. So this is going to be an introduction video where we are going to discuss what is Power Automate firstly. Then we are going to discuss what kind of flows we can build in it. Then later on we will see some terminologies like what are connectors, what are triggers, what are actions and Power Automate. And finally we will see one use case and what kind of projects we can build in it. So I hope you guys are excited, and if you are, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like this video, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. So let's get started. So here is our first slide which says what is Power Automate. So Microsoft Power Automate, formerly known as Microsoft Flows, it is a cloud-based service that enables user to automate workflows and tasks across various applications and services. Now it is a part of Microsoft Power Platform. So if you don't know what Power Platform is, just simply Google it. There are 5 major technologies that are present inside Microsoft Power Platform. Those tech are Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, Power Virtual Agent, and Power Pages, which is recently included, right? So basically you don't need any coding experience or any development experience to start with Power Automate. It is very simple since it is a low code, no code kind of environment. So it is very simple drag and drop is there. So it is kind of very simple to like grasp the skills of Power Automate, right? Power Automate offers several type of automation and integration capabilities, making it versatile tool for a wide range of tasks. Now you can build n types of automations in Power Automate. What do I mean by this? Why this tool is versatile is that you can build a flow like a button click flow, right? On press of a button, a flow will trigger. On a certain time, the flow will trigger. When a certain event happens, then the flow will trigger. Even you can automate your local system task as well. So isn't it amazing? So it is totally versatile tool. You can automate anything with the help of Power Automate. It is very much dynamic. Even you can scrape from like website and all using Power Automate desktop. You can scrape website data and you can save it in local Excel and so on and so forth. It is very amazing tool. So this video is totally dedicated on Power Automate Cloud Flows. So we will not discuss Power Automate desktop, neither we will discuss business flows. Okay. Now in next slide we will see what are like business process flows. So here see types of flows that are present in Microsoft Power Automate. So we have automated flows, button flows. Button flows are also known as manual flows, so don't get confused there. Now we have scheduled flows, business process flows, and desktop flows. So as I discussed earlier, desktop flow is related to Power Automate desktop. Business process flow is related to model driven app. Okay, so basically business process flow is nothing but a series of steps to complete a business process. So when we will learn about model driven app, there we will build this business process flows. So there you will get better idea of this kind of flow. But when we talk about Power Automate Cloud Flows, so we basically learn about Power Automate flows, button flows, and schedule flows. So first 3 flows we will learn. Now we have desktop flow as well. As you can read up here, desktop flow allow automation of tasks on Windows computer. That's the key point. Okay, you can't use Mac computer, and like in Mac OS this will not work. Okay, by recording and replaying user interaction, they are usually for automating repetitive tasks on a local machine, right? So basically with the help of desktop flow we automate repetitive tasks on a local machine, right? On a local machine. That's the key point. We don't need internet for it. Alright, now we have automated flows. So these flows run in the background and are triggered by predefined events. So see, events, note this point, events. So what are events? Events can be anything, like receiving a mail is an event, getting a call is an event, getting a message is an event. When an item is created in some list, SharePoint list, or any data source is an event. So these all kind of things, these are events. Alright, let's say if somebody joined the organization today, right? So that is also one kind of event, right? So automated flows are those flows which will trigger when some predefined event or condition happens, right? So they are suitable for tasks like automated data synchronization and notifications. Now we have buttons flows. As the name suggests, it is very simple. Like when you call somebody, right? You enter the number and hit the dial button and the call happens. So similar way this button flows like that. It is also known as manual flows, which are initiated by the user clicking a button in the Power Automate mobile application or on the web. Okay, they are ideal for on-demand actions. So on-demand actions, if you need something which is on demand on press of a button, just go with this button flows. Okay. Now we have schedule flow. You can compare schedule flow with alarm. Okay, so basically let's say if I set an alarm for like tomorrow 5 a.m. so that alarm will trigger tomorrow at 5 a.m. So same way the schedule flows are like that. These flow are triggered at specific times or intervals. They are commonly used for tasks like regular data reporting or data backup, right? So if you wanted to refresh data in our data source, so we can use the schedule flows as well, right? Now let's move on to some terminologies like what are connectors. I haven't mentioned here like what are triggers, what are actions, but basically like trigger, as the word suggests, what is a trigger? So let's say if you get angry, so somebody triggered you, right? Somebody like teased you, then you get angered, right? So same way, that is a trigger, right? If I push you, then you will fell. So you felling when I pushed you, so me pushing you is a trigger, right? So that is a trigger. So same way in Power Automate we have triggers. One trigger could be a button click, another trigger could be a scheduled time, right? At certain time this flow will trigger, and the third will be when a certain event happens, so that is also a trigger. So basically trigger is very simple. Now we have action. Let's say if I trigger something, let's say if I push you, then what is happening? What is the action happening? You are falling, right? So that is action. So here similar way in flows, what we will do, what kind of actions we can do. Let's say if I trigger the flow, somebody receives the mail, some data get extracted from some data source and it is being migrated to another data source. So these are all kind of actions we can perform. Now third point is connectors, very important part. So you can read up here, connectors in Microsoft Power Automate are integration points that allow us to connect our flows to various external services, application and data sources. So let's say if I wanted to connect to SQL Server, and also I wanted to connect to YouTube, LinkedIn, Gmail as well. So for that I need connectors, their connectors I need. So you can see up here in this image we have like so many connectors present inside our Power Platform, I can say, or Power Automate. So you can see up here we have Excel connector, we have Outlook connector, we have LinkedIn, YouTube, n number of connectors, you name it and you will have the connector up here. All the famous connector you will find up here like Gmail, Power BI, Power Apps, SharePoint, Dataverse, SQL Server, MySQL, so on and so forth. Everything will be present here, right? So what are the types of connectors we have? We have standard connectors, we have premium connectors. For premium connectors we have to pay extra. We can build our own custom connectors as well. Let's say if you don't find your connector up here, so then how you can do that? You can create your own custom connectors, right? Isn't it amazing? Let's say if you have some data on your, let's say, local SQL server, so how you can connect to that data source? You can use on-premise data gateway. Isn't it amazing? Let's say you have your data in some API, so you can use HTTP and REST API connectors, database connectors, cloud service connectors, data connectors, AI and machine learning connector, IoT connectors. So see, unlimited connectors we have in our Power Automate. So we can connect to n number of application, data source and services which are either of Microsoft or external. Okay, it is not just simply based on like Microsoft, which are of Microsoft we can only connect to those, but we can connect to n number of services which are external, right? So these connectors facilitate the exchange of data and enable us to automate workflows involving multiple systems, right? Now let us move to one use case that I have here. Now see, here our objective is to streamline the employee onboarding process by automating tasks, sending him notification, document management and so on and so forth, right? So firstly we have to, like, this is our employee onboarding. So what kind of flows we will use? Shall we use a button flow? Shall we use a schedule flow? Or shall we use the automated flow? So here see, since it is like a streamline the employee onboarding process. So we don't know na when the employee is going to join, right? We don't know that. So it is a event, right? And neither we can make it like a button click, otherwise it will be a manual process. Somebody have to go and press the button to trigger the flow. So we will use automated flow here. As you can see up here, create an automated flow in Power Automate for employee onboarding. So this kind of flow we will use for this project. Now what will be the trigger? When a new employee is added to an HR system. So we might have an HR list, or we can say table. When an employee is added to that table, then this flow will trigger. Or when a new hire form is submitted. Let's say in OneDrive we are submitting one form. So when a new form is submitted in OneDrive, then this flow will trigger. So these are certain events on which we can trigger this flow. Now what kind of actions we can perform? First thing first, when somebody joined the organization, let's say when you will join the organization, or when you have joined the organization, you might have received some welcome mail, right? So that mail is automated. Nobody's going to send you, like maybe in some organization people are sending you manually, but usually this thing is automated. Whenever you join the organization, so you receive a mail automatically saying that welcome to the organization, and certain like when is your start date, office location, these kind of details you have, right? That handbook and so on and so forth. So you can like send email, welcome email to the particular employee who joined the organization. One action will be this. Another action that we can you make is like create user account. We can create his account automatically, since once like he's added to HR system, so his details will be there, right? In that table, like his first name, his last name, his job profile, and so on and so forth, email, everything will be there, right? So then we can extract those details from there, and we can just save it in user profile, user account, right? So we can create a user account for him. Another thing is generate documentation. Automatically generate and populate employee documents such as employee contract, tax form with a new employee information. So whenever a new employee joins, so he might have like he or she might have like a certain tax form, some contracts, which is common to all the employees, right? So we can generate this documentation and send them over email, right? So another task action could be this. Another thing is task assignment. Now assign and tracking onboarding task for HR, IT. Let's say HR has to fill some form, IT admins have to fill some form, a department have to fill some form like setting up hardware, conducting training, ordering business card, and so on and so forth. So these are task assignments. So we will assign tasks to like various other departments as well. Now next thing we have document management. Automatically store and organize important document like employee resume, certifications, signed contract in a secure document repository or SharePoint. So we can save his all details in some location like online space like SharePoint or some secure document repository. Now we will send notification to HR, IT, and the new employees manager at different stages of onboarding process, like such as when the tasks are completed or when documents are ready for review. So we can send notification to like these departments. And the last action will be training and orientation. Okay, so we will schedule and send reminder to the new employee that hey, you have to complete this training, this is the orientation meeting, please join, like something like that. We can create like all of these kind of action, and n number of action you can use. Okay, so basically a single flow will have one trigger. Okay, a one flow cannot have two triggers, right? One flow will have only one trigger. Just make a note of it, only one trigger, but it can have hundreds and thousands of actions. Now that is way too much, like thousands of action, but yeah, it can have n number of actions. I can say at least like it can have like 20 to 30, 40, 50 actions. Okay, so at last you can read, once the flow is set up, it will initiate the onboarding process for the new employee automatically, ensuring the essential tasks are completed on time and all relevant parties are informed. This reduces manual administrative work, minimize error, and provide a seamless onboarding experience for the new hires. So this is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like this video, and share this video with your friends and colleagues. You can share your feedback in comment section as well. In the next video, we are going to start with our project. I'll give you a basic overview of the UI of Power Automate, right? So see you in the next one. Till then, take care. Goodbye.